Hey guys, Spidey Spec V here for another video. Today we are going to install a new coolant temperature sensor, the gutted upper thermostat, the new thermostat, and some nice new Mishimoto radiator hoses. And if I can get to it, I'll be doing a new intake gasket. I'm probably not going to show myself replacing that because that's not necessarily a mod. It's more of maintenance. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna raise this car up all the way in the air, drain the radiator, pop this cap off to release vacuum, let all the coolant come out. While the coolant is draining, we're going to remove the battery. We're going to install the other part of the grounding kit from the throttle body to the block. We're going to remove this part of the intake, so that way we can remove this cradle that holds the battery in, because right down there is where the other thermostat is situated, hence why you need to take all this out. So let's get to work. Now that we got the vehicle up in the air, we are going to remove this large plastic tray here. There is the little nozzle that we have to take out, and then where it lines up is over here. For these types of clips, it is very useful to have a pair of pliers like this. They make the job much easier than just using a screwdriver. Alrighty, it's time to unscrew this guy and let it go. We're going to take the radiator cap off top, so that way it can release the hydraulic pressure and this can just come out. Just to show you. Little stream. Pop this guy off. Still a bit of a small stream, but it's coming out more than it was before. There we go. Kind of lower the car while this drains and start this assembly. All right. So to take the battery out, there's this little guy here that holds the battery onto here. This is a 13 mil. I took out the screw that clamps this together. That screw is right here. This is for the grounding kit of which I installed, and I can show you guys how to install it. We got this plastic battery tray. You have these bolts here to take out. These clips here you need to push in and push out for the wiring harness. And then of memory, and then you have to pull this harness upwards. It's held in by a little tab. Once you get that done, you should be able to pull this out. Disconnect the ECM as well. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done this. All right. So this part is dependent as to whether or not you have a stock or aftermarket intake. You have to take out this throttle body bolt right down here. I'm sorry, you have to take out this bolt right down here to take the computer out, so you can take this tray off. And I had to take apart the air intake to get to it. I'm also going to delete these hoses here going into the throttle body, so that's the other reason I had to take off said intake. I managed to get this guy out of the way. I had to use pliers to undo those clips, and then these are just a bunch of 13 mils, which wasn't too bad. So now we are going to take out that 10 mil here to take this bracket off of the wiring harness. And I believe we have to take off that bolt right down there too, but I actually don't know. This is the first time I've done this. So I shall update you when I get there. This is proving to be a bit of a pain in the ass to do. That screw there, screw here, a screw right down there. I unplugged the ignition coils, took those grounds off, so I would have more room to wiggle this harness around. Disconnected, I think that's a cam sensor. So now I have more room to get down there. I disconnected that guy, and I disconnected this guy for the brake fluid reservoir. So now I'm going to start disconnecting these lines to get them off. Hopefully get some slack onto this. All right. I got the thermostat out of this. This is one of the most in-depth and pain in the ass things I've ever done to this car, actually. So there's the old gasket. We are going to use a new one. It is these bolts here. It is these three guys and then these two. I have a spare motor here to show you. There's those two studs there. This screw, and then let's see. And then one right here. This here is the most pain in the ass one to get to. What I had to do was, there is a screw down there that you take out for this water pipe here. Then I had to go down to where my shifter is and take out the two screws that hold my shifter in place. That way I could take this pipe here and twist it out of the way. Take this pipe here and twist it out of the way so I can get that water control valve out. So that way I could also get the screw out. So now we're going to be replacing this sensor here and the thermostat. When you put the new thermostat in, it should look like that for this one and for the main one. This was the old thermostat we took out. This side was the side that I had to take pliers on and actually pull it out. This is the gutted thermostat. I cut off the end so that way water can flow through it freely. We're going to put it in. Well, let's not drop it first. Without dropping anything this time, basically you're going to take this thermostat, the gutted one, and you're going to put it in like this. You're going to make sure it is completely seated in there. Then you're going to replace the gasket, and then you got to reassemble all that bullshit. Alright, before you reinstall the housing, clean this area off and this area off really well to get off any residue and such before you put in the new thermostat, well, the gutted one anyways, and the gasket. So I'm reassembling everything. Make sure that this water neck here, you clean all the corrosion off of it, so when you go to put the hose on, you have a nice, good surface for the hose to seal on. Alright, got the grounding wire for the throttle body on. So this is from the HKS kit. What I did was I attached it to this throttle body bolt and I ran it underneath all this crap. And then I bolted it to the front of the block with a 13 mil. I'm gonna make this look somewhat nicer. Just we'll figure it out. But yeah, that is how you install part of the grounding kit. All right. So I took out that thermostat and then I cleaned the surfaces like I showed you how to do in that. I have the red Mishimoto radiator hoses installed, which I think looks really nice. So now we are just reassembling everything. This was the hose going to the throttle body. I closed that off because we have no need for that. There is the ground cable as mentioned before. So now we are just reinstalling everything. Do not forget to reconnect the bolts to the shifting assembly. When you put the new thermostat in, it should look like that for this one and for the main one. Alright, so we are bleeding the coolant now. As you can see, air bubbles are coming up. So the way you want to bleed coolant is make the front of the motor, well, realistically speaking, the radiator the highest point, so the coolant, the air bubbles want to come out that way. Then you come over to the motor here, to the car, foot on the accelerator pedal, and get the RPMs up, and then watch to see if coolant bubbles come out. Air bubbles. That helps make sure that all of the air comes out of the system because you do not want air in your system. And you do that until the engine comes up to operating temperature, or until no more air bubbles seem to be coming out, like this is. Now we are refilling the coolant. We're doing it the old-fashioned way. We're making sure it comes up to operating temperature and that there is nothing leaking.